It seems to have allowed me to do it.
Cool.
Although I'm guessing,
Yeah, it has. It's joined it. It says to me it's linked. Cool.
but
Nice.
I'm curious if it's going to nuke your link because
That
of it.
that's interesting because that must be why my other studio disappeared.
Okay, it just removes it as a reusable studio. All right, that's useless to me. Right, gotcha.
Yeah, it removes it as a reusable studio on my end. I just
Right.
have to, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, I set up a Sasquatch Shills reusable studio, but if every time I let someone else restream my channel from my Sasquatch Shills show, which is every time I do a show, it's just going to end it as a reusable studio. There's no point in setting up a reusable studio for that show.
No, yeah, that's it. Callum's in the middle of the desert. Ah,
Oh, good,
no, mate.
Isn't that what Australia is, though?
Yeah, and he lives right in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. Dig a hole, bro. A really deep one. Sneeze. But, all right. The whole political thing. I have never seen America in as much of a dichotomy as I see it today. It is really strange to walk around in my little hometown over here, this little country rural burg that I live in, and the division between Republican and Democrat runs almost directly down two different lines. One is the white-black demographic, and the other is the urban-rural demographic. So if you have white people in an urban setting here, they are more likely to vote Democrat. Black people in a rural setting here are more likely to vote conservative or Republican in this case. Currently, these two groups, or I guess you say four groups, are so opposed to each other that conversation is no longer applicable.
Yep.
You cannot stop and talk to a friend about differences in opinion on politics because they're immediately going to unfriend you without any further discussion. And for my part, I'm not going to unfriend you. I'm not going to take any action that will show my opinion of the situation. But if you're riding alone in your car wearing a mask, I am not going to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, so that doesn't because that could be any party, that could be any political party. The person that's doing that's virtue signaling, and
No. There's not. It's not in any political party thing. If you find a conservative riding around with a mask on, it's because his doctor told him he needed to, right? He's typically not going to be well, I'm scared I'm going to catch something.
I was going to say, actually, it's not virtue signaling anymore because it's not a thing anymore. Now it's just fear, isn't it? Now it's just ignorance.
It's a badge to wear to signal to other voters who you voted for and how without ever having to say a word. There's this lovely, lovely chick down at the grocery store over here. She's a really good friend of my daughter's. They have associated for the past several years. The only time she wears a mask is when she goes to work. She works at the grocery store over here, and so I see her every few days or so. Lovely girl, very intelligent. And she asked me one day, I've been working here for a couple of years, and you never come through my line. Why not? I said, because you wear a mask. She said, are you that political? I said, no, ma'am, I'm that deaf. I can't hear you if you're wearing a mask because I don't hear you in the first place. I read lips. And so I just skip it because I can't communicate with you. I can't tell what you're saying. All I can see is your eyes. And while they are lovely, I'd have no use for you if you can't communicate with me. And so I just skip your line and go to the next one because it's easier to talk to this one than it is you because I can't tell what you're saying. So the last like month, every time I go in there, when she sees me come around the corner with my little buggy full of stuff, she snatches that mask off and stuffs it in a drawer. But I'm confused. Why wear the mask in the first place if the slightest thing gets you to take it off?
Exactly.
I don't get this.
But that's lack of critical thought on her part, isn't it?
I think, and I don't know this. I haven't asked because I feel like it might be a little embarrassing for her, and she's kind of a touchy type. I suspect written in her employment stuff is something about wearing a mask, right? And since she's one of the rule followers in the world, when she shows up at work, she shows up with her mask, like, prepared for school type thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it goes much further than that because she never wears it otherwise. So I don't know. As far as seeing an honest person, I'm brutally honest when it comes to like daily stuff. Like if chick asks me, does this make my butt look big? I kind of have to guess whether she wants it to or not. I like a big booty. I don't mind it. So it's like, does this make my butt? Yep, sure does. I like that. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing.
Good citizens media. That's true. Just takes a little peer pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm less insecure. I only wore a mask one time.
It pissed me off because you had it like you had no choice here. Like you could try and make a stand if you wanted, but if they would call the police, and if the police turned up and you did that with them, they would just get the batons out and they'd hit you.
Yeah. Well, here all right. So our Constitution restricts how much certain entities in the government can do, right? If they get caught outside of that realm, we have the ability to redress everything, and lawsuits are flying left, right, and center. They're still playing out about this mask BS. And it's been more or less unilaterally decided that no business has the ability to deny you service based on not wearing a mask. That's seems to be how it's coming down. Now, this depends on what state you're in, because some states allow businesses to completely curtail whatever they want to with no explanation. Like I'm in a right to work state. If I don't want to work for you, you're done. That's the end of that conversation. You cannot force it. You can't. Same applies to a restaurant. If I show up at a restaurant wearing a dot on my freaking head in the wrong spot, they can deny me service based off of the idea, whatever they got their thinking in their head. They don't have to explain themselves, and I can't sue them for it.
How are you meant to wear a mask? Do they expect you to shave your beard off? Is everybody expected to? Anybody with a beard, you got to get rid of that so your mask works.
I mean, I'm not sure any thought went into that process whatsoever. You remember the whole Fauci concept of double, triple, and quadruple?
Oh my God! Don't fucking Fauci,
dude. I am anti. I don't hate anyone. I have encountered people I do not like strongly. I wouldn't go as far as saying I hate them. Fauci's getting there. He's pretty close. For someone who was not elected and never given any level of power over to the citizenry, he adapted to that shit and took it up like it was cocaine itself, with no intention of quitting.
I mean, you remember 1980s? You remember the whole HIV, AIDS thing in the 80s? Well, he was right at the head of that. He was the one spearheading that.
Do you remember the weird standoffishness that took place through all of that no one could really explain? All right, let's take it this way. 83, 84, you go to a school and there would be piles of kids piled up on the playground, beating each other up and fighting over a swing or whatever. But they'd be groups of kids here, there, and everywhere. By 85, 86, no one would touch each other for the most part. Like if physical contact took place, it was tantamount to there being a fight immediately.
I don't know if I remember. I don't really remember anything specific about that subject. But yeah, I remember in the 90s it was still a thing, man. I remember still, you know, it was still a thing. It was everybody like put a condom on or you might get AIDS. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know if it was pushed as hard in the UK. It was pushed, obviously. It was really, you know, it was all over the TV and stuff, and then you had Tom Hanks doing a film about it.
And Magic Johnson was doing PSAs every other week.
Right. But it wasn't ever, I was never really worried about it. You know, I had unprotected sex all the fucking time and wasn't really worried about catching AIDS. Because I didn't think, you know, like the girls that I was going with and stuff, they weren't that bad. They, you know, they weren't.
Well, there's another layer to this. There's another feature here that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and it's because it has to do with that whole mafia, the Pride Mafia folks. There was a certain demographic that was more likely to come up with HIV than any other demographic.
Dude, it was the same demographic as they said with the coof as well, and with monkey.
Well, monkeypox, yes. The coof, not so much. But I mean, the reason is logical once you think about it. I mean, if you're doing certain things, you have more chances of crossing your fluids with blood, and than if you're doing other things. And so the likelihood of transposition is much greater in that situation than it is when you're just doing normal stuff.
Except if there are a number of documentaries out there that say that it's completely bullshit. There's
documentaries that say gravity is bullshit. So I mean, you kind of got to take your truth with a grain of salt in every direction.
Shout out to our new panel. Oh, we got everybody's coming up, right? Brian, how's it going? Roxanne, yes, Roxanne's joined us. Voy, good to see you. And
how do I blend in? I blend in like you know, it's not a perfect blend, but it's a good cut.
And I don't know. I thought actually I brought this person up thinking it was Esther because I'm not wearing my glasses, and it's not. It's Eldred Master. Do you know Eldred Master?
It's actually 5-speed, Richie.
Oh, it's 5-speed. How you doing, man?
Greetings to everyone. Good to see you, Sasquatch.
Yeah, brother.
I think I've seen you a time or two over at Flow States.
I'm sorry. I really can't control what you do when I'm not around.
I hear you. But you know, I jumped up here.
Lovely to see you all. Lovely to see you on the panel. Lovely to see you, Rich.
Hey,
Big
Rox.
shout out to you all on the panel.
It's awesome to see you, Rox. Rox has got a break. She doesn't get a lot of time, so when she does, we are very blessed to get her over here.
You're my sanity in a world gone mad, Rich. I'm telling you, you're my sanity in a world gone mad. It's all gone to shit. So what's the convo about? What have I chimed into? What is crackling on the panel?
Well, I started it with the thought of what's going on in America at the moment with the cracks showing already in the whole Doge thing with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk and MAGA being pissed off with them, basically really pissed off with them because MAGA's all about maximizing the opportunities in America for Americans, and you know, cutting immigration and everything, whereas Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are both immigrants. They're both the result of immigration. They've both got HB1 or H1B visas, and that's the H1B visa. thing. Yeah, but we've ended up actually talking about fucking talking about AIDS and Anthony Fauci. But
it goes in varying degrees. I love
you
it.
know how it goes. It's I mean, they're all freaking parasites and viruses, aren't they?
And they're all patented, right? They're all patented.
Yeah. They are.
What do you think any of this?
I think Elon. I think Elon initially thought the clapback online was maybe from a minority or fringe set of people, which is why I think he doubled down stupidly. And then now look where we are with it. Dumber.
Yeah, I've had a similar thought. Somehow people got this on the internet like it was his own tweet. And it wasn't, and then he doubled down on it. That's what I thought. But
yeah, well, that's the same element I've caught out of this is that what he seems to think was an opinion of a minority fringe set of people in America. I don't think he realized that was actually the general fucking consensus, and where he's been walking around giving himself this air of, I don't know, Trump's VP. I don't know. I think I've got my popcorn out either way.
Right.
Isn't it? Hasn't somebody's like said something about President Elon or something? Like making out.
No, I think they're asking. I think the people them are asking for Luigi to be president. I think that's the general consensus. I think.
Luigi,
I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen a lot of videos online vouching for where Luigi was that morning.
Mangione.
And I've seen a lot of videos of content makers walking into a McDonald's and pretending to knock out the person who snitched on him. So, yeah. So it's again, I've got my popcorn out. It's all popcorn work.
What are our American panelists thinking about?
Well, besides that, I'm sorry to bother you about the weather, my English people, but how is the weather with you? Is it been misty like for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or maybe even months?
There's been some kind of vapor floating around in the air that when I've gone out to walk Kenny, I've gone, yeah, I'm not sure I should be ingesting that. I don't know what the fuck that is. There's been a very weird misty kind of pissy shit in the sky for the last week or so.
Same in Denmark.
Even for English people, this is too English of a weather, right? Say.
I don't know. The general consensus of people around me is just exactly what I've said. It's like so I've got a couple of pals that have got Ring doorbells. And they've said that on their Ring doorbell, when you look at this mist, it doesn't look normal. It's like most people's attention has been earmarked by seeing it on their cameras going, what is that? What the fuck is that? It doesn't look right.
Are you getting, what's it like in America?
As far as weather-wise?
Yeah, you get are you getting the you getting misty air? Can you see particles in the air at night when they're passing through the light? Is it?
To be honest with you, I really haven't paid attention to that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here it's very it's so pervasive. Like it's it's what I look at. I have a very clear view of the sky, and I have a great view. But not for the last 2
That's why I jumped up here.
It's only been misty, dude. Only mist.
Sorry, go on, Eldred.
I jumped up. You and Sasquatch were having a conversation there, and I rewinded live to take a look at that video you had up about where it said King Charles, whatever.
Oh, I'd started off. I just popped that up because it was talking about the King's speech and talking about civil war.
Mm-hmm. But what was very interesting in that, in the very beginning, it said about King Charles' speech that was something to do the temperature in our world or something, and how that affects Christianity. It was right in the beginning.
The government lied to us about, told us was a Welshman.
Well, my question to all of that is Sasquatch was talking about the maskers.
Right.
And, you know, when we look at all of this stuff, you know, when we recycle through all of this shit from Hollywood, Walt Disney, all of this stuff throughout history, it would seem here in America in 1983 is when the opioids hit the streets in the communities. The nuclear family was created. Healthcare, all of that stuff started skyrocketing, education. But what's interesting, it's all great with the Constitution and all of that, but what's interesting in that education system is there is an associate of science, associate of arts, associate of this, associate of that. When we look up associate of science, it's upon the 4-year completion, but also upon a 2-year program on scientific and technical disciplines. Very interesting. And now we look at the stage of mental health and the funding and the resources of the folks being actually the source that's being resourced. So if they educated us to dumb us down, and we're going along with all of these scientific and technical disciplines on the paperwork instead of actual right and wrongs to cover something, to hide something.
They've definitely.
They want us smart enough. They want us to be indoctrinated enough to do vocational jobs, but dumb enough so that we buy what they're feeding us.
Correct. Also in the 80s, the VAC rate went up, boom, astronomically. Now all of these folks in, let's say, public service, the liars, right? Public service, that they've all lied to us, and they've all been handpicked in the education system, the indoctrination, to fulfill those 2-year program in that scientific and technical disciplines within the paperwork to convert the actual people into heads of cattle in their financial system and get us to sign to go along with the program. A lot of your low-level courts are called orphan courts. So when I look at the P. Diddy thing, in the record label that was putting all of this information, I look as teachings the old way would be teaching. How do they get a voice and get their name in lights to turn that act into an actor on stage, meaning on record? Courts of record?
I hear that you're saying a lot, Eldred, but sometimes, you lose me.
I get it. But if it's about rights, principles, and freedoms, where does these scientific and technical disciplines come in through education and judicial?
Yeah, you're talking about the dumbing down of society, right?
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I haven't been here for a minute. Are we taking a poke down the old sovereign citizen rabbit hole concept?
No, I was just tying associate of science and what that degree is actually all about, and it wouldn't seem that it's about rights, freedoms, and principles to scientifically and technically discipline somebody through paperwork and signage.
Oh.
Very interesting point. And we got the Revitalization Act, we got the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and all of this is about health and education, isn't it? So where's the sources coming from, the resource? So I'm kind of at this point, I'm questioning, because all local governments are created in communities throughout the counties in America off of an SS-16, which is a certificate of election of coverage. There's the voting system. And if you look at that SS-16, it also talks about a religious order. And we all know there's a pecking order. I know Sasquatch knows that. So it's quite interesting. And then you look at all of the Diddy stuff, and that would make sense. Did these actors, did they grow up in a house that they were used and abused to get their name in lights?
I think that's pretty much. I think it's a given that.
But I think here's the interesting part to that, though, Richie. Sean's name is Combs. The family name is Combs. The chairman of the Board of Regents and the banking commissioner in 1983 that was murdered in their house in Richmond, Virginia, supposedly, that name, family name, was Combs. So there's something going on here. I know a lot of people are probably going to think I'm crazy, but
dude, most of us are beyond crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm undiagnosed paranoid schizophrenic, so.
But I think we can't overlook that.
I'm not going to lie. I resemble that remark as well. I'm with you guys.
Just get in line.
But
we're all here in line for.
Yep, I agree. I think that there's a lot of nothing going on, and I think as far as this Diddy Schmiddy case that's going on, I think he's just in a long line of cases that have come out recently that most people haven't really batted an eyelid at, yeah, and quite rightfully so, because it's not really a big enough name to sway enough of a public opinion about something, which, if we're talking about something important, would be children, right? So you've got, what is it, Harvey Weinberg or Weinstein, whatever his name was, Ghislaine and fucking Jeffrey and his weird island and his bird, Ghislaine with a fucking submarine license and all sorts of weird shit. But nah, that's all right. Everyone get on with your lives. And then Schmiddy comes out and all this fucking madness with Cassie and all that. And again, it's not really big enough to sway public opinion. I think eventually there'll probably be a bigger household name that will come out down the road, and then that'll make people slow down a little bit. But yeah.
I think there's an air. I think there's definitely an air of people, normal people out there, and your average Joe public. They already know that this sort of shit goes on. So it's not.
But they've been denying it for years.
Yeah, they've been denying it for years, but everybody's kind of known anyway. So it's like.
In Christianity, wouldn't the teachings be where the prophets come from? So in 1983, when that gentleman was killed, who was the Board of Regents who writes the curriculums, but that school, Eastern State Normal School, in 1966 became Eastern Kentucky University. In 1906, in its creation, it was Eastern State Normal School. In 1966, that changed. And in 1906, up until then, Teachers were teaching the students to be teachers.
The education system has been compromised since its conception.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and so yeah, that touches upon what I want to actually touch upon, right? Because it's the common awareness of reality that will be the main thing for things to switch. There's not one truth or two truths or a series of truths to be released, even in the mainstream media, or to be written down in history for it to be accepted. You know, it takes the people, it takes each and every individual consciousness for it to be ready, or like most of people. And I'm, you know, we are getting there. I mean, there is still this ability to get there with the internet quasi open to everything. And it's about to shut down, you know, as we speak. There, I mean, the laws are there already, you know.
It is written properly.
I'm of the opinion that the Department of Education lived out its usefulness by the mid-'80s and should have been completely eliminated before then. But because we still have it, somebody needs to end it now because it has educated no one.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the basic morals, ethics, and things of that nature comes from the mother and the father, not a third party.
Right, but they made the
father.
Well, but not just not because you made this statement about the nuclear.
They've taken away a lot of the abilities for mothers and fathers to be mothers and fathers by making them parents. And unknowingly, those parents have signed over a lot of the things for their children to the government. And now the government has a care of duty to those children to indoctrinate them and to keep them in indoctrination camps. In this country, our government has just recently said that you cannot automatically have the right to homeschool your child. You need special permission from the government to do that.
They've been programmed into scientific and technical disciplines is where all of this financial instruments come from in the financial system.
Right, which is all about peer-reviewed and licensed.
Mm-hmm.
Peer-reviewed and licensed, and that's
first word lie.
Right. This I don't really know what to say. Look at the chat room. Red Cap, by the way, Red Cap Goblin, absolutely, totally, 100% agree with you. I've been saying that right since the very beginning. It's a marketing ploy. Calling it intelligence is a marketing ploy. Artificial intelligence. It's a complete marketing ploy. It's not intelligent. It just runs algorithms. It's not intelligent. Correct. There's no intelligence behind it. Intelligence requires a little bit more.
Well, if human is behind the info, then you could kind of say that we are the artificial intelligence.
I think we are the original artificial intelligence kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, what about those that have been programmed into the scientific and technical disciplines, though?
Well, exactly. They are not actually very intelligent.
And they're amongst all of us.
I know,
because I honestly believe that we are the natural intelligence.
They're just highly indoctrinated.
Right. They've scored high on an IQ test. All an IQ test does is test the logic side of your brain. It pays no attention whatsoever to the other side of your brain. You know, male and female.
Dude, you gotta bang the two stones together, dude. You gotta bang the two stones together.
Right. one Stein is no good.
Exactly, dude.
Well, Louder or Launderground, I believe that was his name down there, said something about the British in England one being fake. Well, what is also interesting, I don't know if anybody here, Sasquatch might know, have you ever heard of WEBN fireworks? WEBN is a radio station in Cincinnati, Ohio. And the top dog in that radio station, a couple months ago, I was just, seeing who's running it now. It's a woman, and at the end of her name, she has an acronym of OBE. Now, OBE, when you look in acronyms, could be a couple different things. It could be an outcome-based education system here in America, or it could be an officer of the British Empire. So, you can't make this shit up.
And you can absolutely believe that somebody will put that, when it's the education one, not the officer of the British Empire, but it's in America. Like, I wonder if an American going over to England and using that, using OBE, I don't think I don't know what would happen if anybody actually checks these things out,
I think right now what I'm trying to figure out, I understand how the local government's created in our counties across America. The thing I'm trying to figure out now is if that record label, the record label in Hollywood, in the arts and music, if that record label is attached, if it is actually one and the same to that SS-16, and it is a religious order, and there's a pecking order in that religious order, and we got the wrong pecker at the top. And, there's a whole lot of peckers going around at those black and white freak-offs.
That's all. The whole Diddy thing is the next phase of whatever it is they're running. It's the next phase. First it was Epstein, then it was Diddy. Epstein brought in all the big names. He's got all the senators and the country leaders and all of that level of administration that nobody really, they haven't released the list, so nobody really knows. Nobody really know who half of those names are anyway. Whereas
it's funny you should say list, Rich, because the other day Mel Gibson posted a list. Mel Gibson, I haven't got my other phone on me just now, so I can't bring it up, but he posted it on his social media. It's an extensive list, but Mel Gibson posted quite a wild post with a list of people that look like a small novel. I don't know if you're able to get it up, but yeah, he posted that quite recently.
Where did he post it? On?
I think it was on X. I could be wrong. When I stop driving, I'll be able to get my other phone and get it, but I can't get it just now because I'm driving.
Oh my God, I'm having a. What's his name again?
Sorry,
seriously,
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, right? Fucking hell, I was having a complete brain fart.
You
just said his name. You just said his name, and then it was just like it was wiped out of my head.
That's not called a brain fart.
Red Cap Goblin has an amazing point here that I think should be iterated to the world. He says that governments have all of our data but can't catch the real bad guys. What a coinkydink, right? They can find out that you said something nasty on your Twitter, show up at your door, kick it in, and come take you out. But they can't find the folks that have 225 kids You know
Well,
what I'm
this is
saying?
what's interesting with that too, Sasquatch. When we look at the definition of the word Washington, George Washington, as a lot of folks know it here in America, was the first
America.
president. Well, you look at that definition of Washington, it also means a state of man. Now, DC is an acronym, DC. DC can also stand for data communications. The capital, right?
I thought I would tell my conspiracy theories about P. Diddy and Satanism and child trafficking.
I think all of these folks are sick. They're a weed that needs to be pulled from the garden.
Right, but
They bear nothing good.
So I forget. I was talking to about this literally like yesterday or a couple of days ago. This is why the system has to collapse. It has to completely collapse because it has to be destroyed, utterly destroyed, because the corruption is too complete. It's too deep rooted. It was started by corruption, so there's too many people. If we take out those people on the top, the positions will be filled again. There's somebody else that can't wait to be the top guy.
While you touched on that, a thought came to mind, and I thought, why does a sect of people that dislike everybody else so much on earth and think they're chosen have such a holding on everybody's life and society's life? I might have gone a little bit left with this, but I just wanted to point out to everyone, I just wanted to make it known to everybody. Most of us in this chat and on the panel, I don't know how many people here celebrate Christmas. I, for one, I'm not keen on it. Never have been. I haven't lied to my children. Never told them Santa was real. Didn't bother with the Tooth Fairy. Fucked off the Easter Bunny as well, and just kept it 100.
I still signed mine from Santa.
I didn't. I didn't. No. I'm not letting some next guy take credit for something I've done for my kids. It's not happening. And so I don't do it for my kids at Christmas. I do it for my children at other points in the year when we've met goals as a family. But anyway, that's another story for another day. It came to my attention, Rich. Do you remember I was telling you the other day about the songs?
About the what?
The songs, Christmas songs.
Oh yeah. Fucking hell, yeah. Yeah, and we did a little search, didn't we?
Yeah. Like we've been encroached. Like this situation we're in has been ingrained for such a long time that generations of people have been born into this. So to come out of this is such a radical thought for people, because for some people it's an original thought. Some things that people are coming to just is so far out of their realm of thinking. But yeah,
well, because
the corruption that started all of this is going to be the corruption that finishes it all. When people come to the realization of how far we've been fucked.
Well, like they say, like if you
running around like cattle, wasting our time doing stupid shit that we don't need to be doing, just wasting valuable time. Time's the only thing in life we can't replace, and they know that. So they've got us wasting.
All you got to ask is, who is it that you can't talk about? Who is it that you can't? There's a very, very deep. Very deep grained.
Again, saying it might even just risk a strike. It's not even worth it.
We have to use hobo code, and
yeah.
But if somebody looked into the, we shouldn't go too close to this subject.
Moving along, but just search for American songs, at least. If you have time, guys, just have a little quick search and say who were the most popular American Christmas songs written by? The people.
Cohen.
Given certain type of people that don't like people like us.
Cohen was probably one of the names.
I can't remember, but there were
Steinberg.
Yeah.
Weissenberg.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the song "Spirit in the Sky"?
I've sung it, mate. I sing it. I sing
Okay,
it.
I knew you have. But this is a ostensibly religious tune that is ostensibly Christian, written by a small hat guy who immediately retired after writing the song, and now, or up until his death, lived out in Arizona with his goats. As far as I know, it's the only song he was credited with having written, and it is basically taken to be one of the Christian anthems of the era. It's not even. He actually sat down and told someone that he wanted to write a Christian song because he thought it would be easy, and then he did it, and it did, and it was. So make of that what you will.
Well, I think he was connected to the right people to make it that what he wanted it to be, right?
Well, I mean, at the time, I think he was working for MCA, and he showed up because he was a technical assistant to one of the things. And he told the guy, he's like, "Hey, I wrote this song. Do you care if I record it?" They're like, "Wait until everybody else is done." And sure. And he kind of pitched it to a few different people, which is why when you listen to the music in that song, it sounds a little bit disjointed, is because there was no practice time for any of it. They literally, he was like, "Hey, this is the song. This is how you play it. I'm going to sing it, and we're going to do this." And they recorded it. There was no prep time for it whatsoever. It is a jewel.
When it goes, "We're going to go to the place that's the best. Go to the place that's when you can hear it in the song. There is a
Now that you mentioned it, Sasquatch, but that's part of the charm of the song, I guess, too, right?
It's also a testament to the skill of the musicians that played it. Fair play to them.
Now that is an excellent point, because these guys that did the actual record version of that song, I don't know that Homie's ever performed it himself. It's always been performed by guest singers who come in and do it with whatever band happens to be handy, because it wasn't like he was he wasn't touring the US and doing an album. He was just some dude that worked over there. It was like, "Hey, I got a song." Well, we got a little bit of extra tape.
South Park actually did an episode where Cartman wanted to make $20 million, and he basically felt that God told him to write a Christian album. That would be the best way because of the potential. Like, go to the Bible Fest thing, whatever it is, and go and sell the album. Go and sell the album there. And go platinum. Basically, he wanted to go platinum, and he wins, and he goes platinum. Except he says, "Here's your myrrh award." He's like, "What? Myrrh? No, we don't have bronze, silver, and gold. We have frankincense, myrrh."
See, I think music plays a big role in a lot of the teachings, right? Depending on the frequencies of the music, and
in scripture it says that Lucifer is
in the lyrics.
Lucifer is the god of of tone, basically.
Right, but if we look at a garden that's going to
ruler of the sky.
Yeah. Right. If we're gonna have a garden that's going to produce us all of this prosperity and abundance, we would have to plant seeds, right? Those would be the teachings. But if you look at that seed, when that seed gets planted in the ground, it's just a seed. But when it starts to take root, now it starts to look like a musical note. We've been deceived big time.
Bro, I feel like you've got a point, but I can't find it to save my life because you're going along on a perfectly logical frame, and then suddenly it takes this hard left turn where you're like, but yeah, it looks like a musical note. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, I'm with Seth.
So it's not just me.
I got you, bro. I got you.
I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just calling you out on something that's happened 4 times since I've sat down and started listening, where you go from one premise of interpretation to another premise of interpretation.
Yeah. I'm so glad.
Are we judging?
I thought I was losing my.
I'm just curious what's going on. I think maybe.
Are we judging from a line of? Are we judging from a rail of straight as the gate and narrow as the way, or are we judging from a left or a right?
No, your ability to say something that is understood. That is what I'm judging.
Controlled by an ego from the program.
I'm not using a cliche. I'm not going to use a cliche for this, bro. What I'm saying is you are saying things that make sense, and then you flip it at the end of the sentence and turn it into something different.
I think because it's all connected.
You don't tell us that turn is coming, so we don't expect it. So we end up sitting around staring at each other going, wait a second, what does that mean? Right?
That's why it's hard for me to get up here on these panels and talk. You know what I'm saying?
Curious if you're doing this as a point, like to make a point in what you're saying, or if this is just an afterthought after you've said what you were intending to say.
Nothing I've said here that hasn't been facts and proof that you can go find yourself.
I'm not saying that you're lying. I haven't implied that at all. I'm not saying that you're being disingenuous or anything like that. I'm just curious when you do that weird left turn at the end of a statement where you're talking about things over here, and then the last statement you make is about musical notes, which, okay, I'm not debating whether or not it looks like a musical note or a C. I'm asking, where did that association come from? I don't understand that part.
Where I tied the musical note to the seed that's planted in the ground. You're asking where that comes from? It would be a card from the Library of Congress with the Combs genealogy on it and how they got to where they are today.
And what does that have to do?
And then 83.
Hang on. What does that have to do with music?
Well, I'm just going to say it, and then I'm going to bounce out of here. I believe it is possible that the Native American Indians, because that record label was created in 1906 as well, or 1904. I believe that the Native American Indians are very possibly the lost tribe of Israel in the sense of Christianity. And it's awful familiar to me, or kind of. How does Kentucky play a role in all of this? And they're not even one of the original 13 colonies.
So all right, you did it again. You did it right there. Did you notice it? Did you do it on purpose?
Fucking hell, man. That's like, do you even know that you're doing it?
Hold on. That's what I'm trying to determine. It's going to be very difficult for us to hold a conversation if the end of every sentence.
It is for 4 or 5 people. If it's one-on-one, then, I can't try to clarify you with 5 other people and clarify them at the same time with our conversation. You see how that goes south?
No, yeah, I can see how that can be difficult. But what I'm getting at here is I'm curious, do you know you're doing it? Are you doing it on purpose, or is this just an affectation of how you speak? If it's an affectation of how you speak, then fine. We can move on with the conversation and it's not a problem. The issue comes up is when you're using it to try to blunt a response. If you're getting to the end of your point and you don't want to be broached by the point, and you add something weird and circuitous, a circular logic at the end of the sentence, that makes it difficult to try to, rebut your statement. But if it's just a quirk of your speaking, then it's fine and we can just move on. That's my curiosity. I'm not saying I don't,
but I don't know. All I know, my friend, is I am a guy that I want the fucking truth. I want to know what went on to all of us.
That's why when I get confused, I ask you a question.
Rich guy and everybody else is suffering and think that I'm special. That's not the case here. I've done an extensive amount of research. I'm actually from that area. I carry that last family name. So there's something in all of this. there's something in all of this, and everybody's going along with the scheduled programming of the indoctrination and don't want to see anything outside of that.
Dude, tone it down. All right, tone yourself down. You're getting a little bit excited now, and it's starting to piss me off.
I'm just passionate. I'm not.
Yeah, well, there's passionate and there's being a prick.
Hold on.
So
just Double-O, this is your channel. You know I'm not going to step on your toes about how you want to run it, but I've talked to people from Kentucky and folks that hang around Southern Baptist, and passionate and angry and disjointed can sometimes be the same thing.
No.
I don't think he's going above and beyond his typical speech range. I think this is probably right where he usually sits when he's talking to people. So
well, this will be why he can't talk to people. This will be why he can never probably always. Every time he probably speaks to people, it ends up with a confrontation because he's trying to preach.
No, I'm trying to lay down the foundation of how the tables got flipped on all of us, and we became indoctrinated in that system.
But we know all this. But we know all this. And
why couldn't we all just come together and realize it and all work together and flip the table back on all these son of a bitches then if we all know it?
Well, dude, I mean, don't you see all the
we
tables?
Know it.
I mean, we don't.
We know it. You're talking to 5 other people, and we know it.
I'm sorry,
there are.
You caused this.
Say that again.
I literally parked the car. I come back in. I've just put my headphones in. I'm like, what did I miss?
I'm gonna bounce out, guys, because I don't mean any ill will intent. I try to build things. I don't try to destroy things. Before this goes south, I'm gonna bounce out.
No worries, no worries, no hard feelings, man.
Big love. What happened, man? What happened?
So,
sorry about that.
Roxanne, turn your back for 5 minutes.
I was honestly
not even. I literally parked the car, got out the car, walked in, put the headphones in, and I was like, wait, did I come back into the wrong live stream?
All I did was ask, like,
Pieces.
At the end of every sentence, he would throw in some really weird curly Q loop about how, that applies to the 1906 something or other. And I'm like, wait a second, what?
I don't like it when people start chucking dates out, like they know all the dates of this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's impressive. I haven't catalogued stuff in my mind like that.
Well, it might have been impressive if it was anything that anyone else anywhere knew anything about. If there was one person on this panel that could call him on the dates or the facts or the details or the points, it would mean something. But because none of us have any clue what he's talking about, it ends up just sounding deranged.
What's up, OTW?
What's up, OTW? Good to see you, bud.
Shout out to Sasquatch's chat room as well.
Yeah, they're over there chatting it up, ain't they? Yeah, they're being nice this morning. I'm impressed.
Excuse me, Prairie and Bigfoot and who else we got here?
DJ
John Dedicola. We got Good Citizen Media. Good to see y'all. Appreciate y'all coming through.
I should subscribe to you, Sasquatch.
You wouldn't like me.
Well, I don't know. I think Mary would like. I don't think.
Well, I like laughing at people, and she seems to think laughing at people is offensive somehow. I don't know how she would feel about that specific type of content.
Well, it depends who you're laughing at, doesn't it?
See, that's the problem I have with it. Is I laugh at everyone equally. I don't put it on particular people. I put it on or particular types. I put it on everybody. If you do something stupid, I'm going to laugh at you. I don't care who you are.
And it's not only types, it's usually just behavior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it usually has some to do with doing something stupid.
It can be all kinds of people. It's usually just behavior. Yeah.
So let's get this conversation back on track. We were talking about what were we talking about? I started off the streams about the cracks showing already in the whole fucking MAGA Donald Trump presidency thing. But I touched on the speech by not my king Charles. Rox, have you heard the speech? Have you heard not my King Charles's speech?
No, absolutely not.
I didn't even know that he'd done it. It's weird. I'm sure.
Me neither. I haven't been looking, to be fair, though. I haven't even tried to look, so it's not like been pushed onto my radar because I have not really been online. I've been a little bit preoccupied, so no, I haven't. What was the gist?
Well, actually, we didn't even hear it in the end.
Are we allowed to?
It's a Catholic channel, Catholic Unscripted, and he's talking about it. It's called Declaration of Civil War. King Charles, not my King Charles's Christmas speech. I will never ever call him anything other than not my king. Just put that out.
The speech, or as it now is, the King's speech. It's been a way of telling the temperature about the monarchy, about society, about the state of Christianity in our country. Always there have been things to say about this that have been quite interesting. But this year, it seems to me we crossed a Rubicon. We're somewhere different. It's very hard to know, since we're quite close to the events, what made this crossing, what it was that we crossed, what made it so different. I think instinctively it may have been the murders in Scotland, may have been the cutting of the throats of our young children at the hands of somebody that the government lied to us about, told us was a Welshman, in order to keep the truth from us, so that the pot of resentment, anger, and fury would not boil over. But it did begin to boil over a bit. And as it began to simmer, because people took to the streets in their rage and their fury and their despair and their unknowing of what was going on, only convinced that the state was lying to them. As they took to the streets, so the state cracked down on them with a fury that was as unjust as it was brutal. And we have a number of people who are political prisoners serving time for things they said on Facebook or to the policeman. Remember that poor incompetent woman pushing a wheelie bin at the police. She fell over flat on her face. They picked her up and carted her off to prison. In terms of riot and rage against the state, it was a non-event. But the brutality of the state as it dealt with it was something extraordinary, and showed how frightened they are of us and of this resentment, how frightened they are that we know that they're lying to us and we won't have it anymore. The problem is that this level of anger, this civil war that is already being waged on so many fronts, it's a civil war that's being waged against us by the police with their hate crime, non-hate incidents. It's being waged against us as freedom of speech is being taken away. The very notion of hate speech is a crime by the state against us and our democratic rights. It's being waged by the government against the farmers. It's being waged by the whole trans movement against women and women's rights. It's being waged by those who support zero carbon emissions, as if zero could be achieved in anything. As Jordan Peterson said recently, the concept of zero is perfection. No politician should be talking about zero carbon. It's not possible. It's a nonsense. And we know, too, that whatever is happening to the climate and the weather, and very few of us do know what's happening, the way in which the eco-zealots backed by the government are exploiting it, once again takes the form of a war by the state against the people. They even want to ban wood burners, so you can't chop wood and heat your own home. So there's a civil war going on. War of censorship, war against freedom of speech, war against Christianity. You can't go on to the streets. I was on television recently and asked why there was so little religious faith in Christmas. And part of the answer was, you've banned Christianity in this country. If someone goes onto the streets to talk about Jesus, because to know about Christianity, you have to know about Jesus. And very few people do. We had a group of wonderfully brave people, eccentric and brave people, who would take to the streets and do some street preaching. The first reaction is to call the police on them and shut them up, and to claim that they're guilty in advance of homophobia or Islamophobia, any one of the fake phobias that is part of the civil war against the people of our country. So the civil war is raging, and it's growing in intensity, and in all likelihood, it will blow up at some point in terms of civil disorder. We hope it won't, but it's difficult to see any other way forward. Unless those who are waging the civil war were to back down and to change the path that they've taken in terms of this progressive far left.
It's not like you could be part of the government. It's not like the only way to do it is to civil disobedience or through civil war. It's not like you could become actual part of the government. No, that's totally unthinkable, is it? No, it's not. But the only way they steer us is into civil disobedience and civil war. That's where they steer us. This is our options.
But realistically, to be able to get into government, you need a lot of money. You need a lot of support and backing to be able to get anywhere in government. So as it currently stands at the moment,
sure.
That's not. I don't think that isn't an option. I don't think that is an option at all, because all that is trying to go in and, you know, I'm saying the system has to full collapse completely, and it means chaos. It means absolute civil. You know,
it means roaming bandits of Mongol hordes.
Yeah, it's going to mean shit times. It's going to mean shit times.
People are not
we
nice.
have to hit that. We have to get there. We have to get to shit times.
Hear what you say.
Strong men to show themselves.
I hear what you're saying, but I mean, does that mean that we're going to have to destroy all structures, infrastructures? Or
no, that's what they do. That's what they like to do.
Yeah.
Because
I think so. Well, what I think is they're trying to push people everywhere to desperation, as many ways as they can. And that way, when people are desperate and finally do stand up, then they will jump on them.
They have an answer to it, right? Exactly.
They'll have an answer to the solution. They'll have a solution to the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Hegelian dialect. The Hegelian dialectic.
And so something has to get to these people before they are able to get it to that moment of offering that solution, right?
Well, there's other ways to do it without violence. I mean, the Tommy Robinson
dude. Hold on. Redcap Goblin is over here in your chat spitting absolute fact bullets, bro. Like,
yeah.
That shit is wild. Like, subscribe to me and come tell me some truth, dude. Do that shit.
Yeah.
I seem to have blocked that guy, instantly.
Oh, yeah, sure. And I'm sure eventually it might become annoying, but at the moment, I'm fucking loving it. What's up, Queen Bird? Welcome in, baby.
Redcap Goblin has a lot to say, but I haven't disagreed with anything that has been said yet.
Well, so far, nothing has really been above and
100%.
beyond.
No lies have been told by Redcap Goblin. I completely concur. Like, you said a lot of poignant things there. 100%.
Even if I don't like the truth, as long as you're speaking honestly, or at least about your own beliefs, I can accept that, right? It's like the guy earlier. Who was that? 5-Speed. I don't mind that he has these beliefs. That's not the issue. I wasn't trying to throw smoke at him. I was just wondering whether that weird little left turn he did conversationally was an intentional thing that he did to confuse people in the room so he could keep going, or it's just a weird effect of his speech pattern.
I thought it was a way to steer the I thought he was steering the conversation, controlling it, taking it to stuff that.
Well, that's the reason I called it out, because if he's doing it on purpose, you can ask him to stop, right? Yeah. But if it's just a byproduct of him speaking the normal way he speaks, and he's just a generally confusing sort of guy, then there's not much you can do about that, except, like, he left. And it might be a natural thing because he did leave the way he did. And I wasn't trying to be an asshat pointing it out. I was wanting to know, sir, are you jerking my chain? That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, I noticed before, right? So I'm glad that you joined me.
Yeah, I mean, I it's really from
and I was
early, but yeah, like I was sat here thinking, is my brain working properly today? I was actually thinking, like, wow, I've been dumbed down so much I can't even follow what he's saying. What's going on there? Like,
no, you can actually follow what he's saying because he makes good points, and then like Sasquatch.
Yeah, but then it takes
a left turn and like, what? Where did you go now? Huh? What? Am I here?
Well, it's like building a bridge. He built a bridge really good up to a point, and then all of a sudden you just jump off somewhere.
There's no island. There's no island.
Yeah, he just splash. And that's what I'm saying. If he does it on purpose, that's one thing. But if it's just a quirk of his speech pattern, then there's no point in complaining about it, and we can move on and just start ignoring the weird curly cues at the end of the sentence. Just don't respond to that. Respond to the actual conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, if he's here long enough, we know where he takes left turn and know when to interrupt, and take over the conversation, because he does make good points.
Well, he's in chat, and I suspect that the definition he just dropped actually states that he learned to do this and is implementing it on purpose, which is a little different from.
That's nice.
So yeah, y'all go ahead with it. It's just most people don't look so far into entomology as to become entranced by the history doesn't repeat itself, but it does often rhyme. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still out to lunch on that one. Jury's still hung, but we'll see.
So I mean, we touched on manifesting, right? That's somewhere. I'm sure a conversation at some point you were talking about what you believe manifesting to be, and we were saying, yeah, it requires action and everything. Because I'm on board with what Jason Brashears is saying about the this being a simulation, basically, where it's a interactive. The realm is is something that responds to us. It feeds us what we are expecting. Basically, it feeds back to us what we are emanating from us, from our energy signature, whatever, which is all part of intellectual field, how much we know, how much we're aware of, which all fit that. So what I say about perception, about how they control our perception, they control every aspect of our perception, because they control the language that we use to describe whatever it is that we're trying to describe or to communicate with each other. They constructed this English language for us to do this with. So they've controlled the way we perceive words, the way we perceive images, the way we perceive each other, the way we perceive ourselves, the way we perceive this earth that we live on, the way we perceive the institutions, the scientific institution, the legal institution, government, all of it. They've controlled, and they tightly control how we perceive all of these things, because then that creates our it sort of sets the baseline for us that we then go out expecting exactly what they want us to expect, and wanting the things that they want us to want, valuing the things that they want us to value, so that we're constantly we're playing into the system. So we're in a feedback loop the whole time, where the realm is giving us what we want or what we're focused on. Well, we've got absolutely no idea that that's all the realm's doing. If we were aware of that enough to be able to only focus on what we want to focus on, and know that we can achieve it, and the realm will feed back that you'll be able to achieve all the things that you want to achieve, because the realm is responding to you. And each one of us is having a subjective experience. Each one of us is
but then you're talking about. I mean, it's pretty much Bernays his fault, right? The doors of perception are.
Hey, get out of my head!
Right.
Well, I think
talk a little bit more about it, please, Sasquatch.
Well, you want me to get into the doors of perception?
Yes, go on.
That's only the start of the sentence.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go. No, I don't.
No, I would like you to, because I'm not really aware of it.
That's what's being controlled for us, and not only for us, but also for our parents.
I was just thinking of that very line when you said it, and I was like, "Get out of my head, bro."
No, maybe it was you being in my head, dude. I mean, just stop doing that.
What's that, Mary?
I said synchronicity and coincidence. But I was going to say, too, that I think that we get fed desire from, like, the system, that it makes us want things because it feeds us, you know, because I used to be in sales and marketing, too, one of my many jobs. And that was the point, was to make you want things. And that feeds you into the cycle of wanting to, you know, the whole cycle. Because how many times have I gone into a store and I didn't think I wanted or needed anything until I saw it? So it initiates that in us too, as part of the cycle. It feeds us what it wants us to want.
Well, your desires are educated by your perceptions, and your perceptions are educated by the systems you look at. I don't like using that word system. It makes me think of an RPG, but the methods you pick up information inform your desires and your belief in your possibilities.
And a lot of it has to do with media right now.
Well, it's almost 100%. It's very near an absolute that media is informing a generation in erroneous decision making.
So do you understand that? Do you understand that it's that fact, right? That they have such tight control and almost complete control of our perception of the doors of perception, that it's obviously. It is extremely important. Why would it be so important? Why does it need to be so? Why is it so important for them to control our perception of everything?
Well,
because so that we create what they want us to create.
So that they can mold and shape the things that
the world as they see it.
Yeah,
and that we all agree with it. Yes, they should be the leaders. It's perfectly right that like pathological compulsive liars who steal,
right,
and you know that's just natural.
Your parents did it, you did it to your own children, you know. It's like, yeah, it happens. People lie. Get used to it. Just work with it. Yeah, but trust people too. Trust people. But people lie. That's what they want you to believe. That's like
trust but verify is what you're looking for. Trust but verify.
Yeah.
But you can't if you do
that's
that.
That's not what you're being taught. No, I can't be in this position. No. My camouflage doesn't work there. Richie, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't want you camouflage.
From a young age, from an extremely young age, we're taught to trust our parents who lie to us about Santa and the fairies and the bunnies.
Well, we're
taught lies in our own home.
We're taught that there
are a whole lot of fucked up things by the time
there are good lies and there are bad lies, right? There's. And the thing is, like, it was the reason that my relationship with Rhea, when I went to Portugal, my relationship with her basically just was destroyed when I lied to her. But it was a little lie. It wasn't a big lie. It wasn't about, you know, I wasn't cheating on her or anything like that. It was about some 20 euros that I'd tucked away in a little pocket in my jeans to spend on some weed. And I hadn't told her about it, and I swore, and like anyway, I lied to her, and that kind of fucked everything, and it was because she said, like, well, if you could lie to me about that, you could lie to me about anything. If you can lie to me, you can lie to me. It doesn't matter if
it's not about what it is. It's not a bit big or small. 100%. And I get this, Rich. Like, even as you're a child, right? You're 8 years old, all right? You want a pair of ice skates, rollerblades, roller skates, the new Nintendo, whatever it is, and you know Santa's not real, You're in a household that does the whole Santa thing. You know Santa's not real, but you know if you blag it, pretend Santa's real, and ask for the bike, the rollerblades, or whatever it is, you know that your parents know it's bullshit. You know it's bullshit, but you're gonna blag it, and you know your parents are gonna give it to you and say, yeah, it came from Santa. Like, I'm saying, there's something inherently disturbing about that, because for generations that's been taught that that's okay. You can sit at the dinner table and you can say, okay, Timmy, have you been a good boy? They said, what are you going to ask Santa for? And Timmy knows it's all bullshit. He goes, right, I've been a really good boy, Mum. I'm going to ask Santa for a bike and this and that and the other. And they go, okay, Timmy. And he's sitting there going, this is bullshit. And you're going with it. And I'm pulling this shit off. You're really buying it. I don't think enough research has gone into the psychological impacts of that in how we deal with society, having been taught that before we're 6 years old.
Yeah.
I got a question for the battle. And this one occurred to me while I was on a panel where Flow State and his ilk were over there arguing about the nature of deception, right? And it wasn't until like a couple hours later, I think I fell asleep and woke up in the middle of the night with this thought. If deception is negative in all cases, then what is a stage magician? And why do we tolerate it?
Then what is what?
A stage magician. The entire premise of a stage magician is that he is going to deceive you. The entire thing is a deception. So why is that okay when virtually every other form of deception is viewed as a nefarious thing? Keeping in mind that 100 years ago, he'd probably been burned at the stake for pulling a quarter out of your ear, you know?
I think because most people don't believe in magic anymore. They know it's not real anymore.
So
I believe in magic.
It's okay to be a stage magician because other people don't believe that you're doing action. What's up, OTW?
I came up to answer that question.
How do you feel about the stage magician thing? I asked this question. I actually, I think I texted Flow State at like freaking 2 a.m. or something. It was like, wait a second. How can we tolerate the existence of a stage magician as an actual profession or a clown, equally deceptive, equally a question in this situation? How is this okay when telling somebody that they don't look, that those pants don't make their butt look big is just taken as a dark thing?
Can I go first? I want to go first because this is the question I wanted to answer. Because they are actually honest about the fact that they're deceiving. So the people are going to watch how are they getting deceived. They want to figure it out for themselves. 100%. It's the curiosity part.
Yep. They don't believe it's real magic.
Right.
Good answer, man.
The goal of the magician is to have you believe that he's actually doing magic, something that is not common in this reality.
All right, 5-speed. Hold on. This is a perfect example. Breachy, can you bring that 5-speed comment up? And it's written down so we can actually. All right. Does the pitcher teach who's on third base? It's okay to steal to make it to home plate, or is it the master or doctor writing the script? Okay, the first half of that sentence, I think we can all kind of get on board and understand what you're saying on that. But when you say master or doctor, you completely lose everyone in the context, and we have to scramble to try to figure out what it is that you're talking about. And I'm sure, I am certain that is meant to educate you, that the concept is it will pique your interest and make you look into it. But what happens when you do it with every single phrase, every single sentence, and every single exchange is it just gets lost in the snowfall. People get used to hearing you say it and they just discount the last things out of your mouth. And I am certain you believe those are the most important tidbits you're dropping. But we don't care.
Sounds like metaphors to me.
It's too much. Right? He's trying. Like I said, I feel like he's trying to teach me something,
and he knows how to do it.
To learn.
He's talented enough to know how to do it, right? But he needs more poetry, right?
I'm sorry, OTW. Go ahead. It was too perfect not to drop.
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, intent. I think it comes down to intent. And this is the reason why any other form of deception is viewed as being a fuzzy thing. It might be good. It might be bad. You never know. But when it comes to stage magicians, carnies, freaking sideshows and stuff like that, you expect to be screwed. And so it's not an evil, right? This activity in any other framework would be considered evil. You are deceiving people en masse for profit. That is an evil act by most descriptions. And yet, as a stage magician, it's a perfectly honorable profession.
Well, you've got, what's his name? Is it Chris Angel? That guy that when he gets everybody at the start of his shows, he goes, you have to believe. You have to believe. Yeah, and get everybody to believe, and they all, it's this big thing before the show to get everybody to believe. So is he's just blatantly lying because he's not doing magic, he's doing
But isn't it the suspension of disbelief that we carry into a theater in the first place that permits this level of chicanery for taking place?
Right. It's the suspension of disbelief that they rely on in reality for us to accept what's going on. Like this is what we've talked about a couple of times, the diegetic effect.
Sure.
Well, in suspension of disbelief, it's in the news, it's like advertising, theater, Hollywood, it's everywhere. It's people use it themselves without realizing that or without knowing that that's exactly what that they're using the diegetic effect. But people use the willing suspension of disbelief to deceive others.
People want to believe in magic. I think that's part of the entertainment, in the fascination. That people want to believe in magic, but they can't.
The thing is, magic is real. Magic is absolutely real.
Yeah, magic is real.
It's just not in the form that we know.
Yeah, exactly. Not in the way it's been presented to us by.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that the media might not be advertising it as it actually is? How dare you, sir?
Oh, dude.
I'm sorry to have to tell you. It's like Santa Claus.
But Santa Claus is also something that's real, but it's just an allegory for something else, right?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. I have a large Caucasian dude that intrudes my house once a year to bring my terrible children good presents because my wife has great taste.
Don't know what to answer to that.
Right? Yeah, it makes no sense.
So you have my sympathy, I think is what I should say.
Does he have a beard?
No comment.
They say it's Santa Claus.
Oh, brother, y'all got my belly laughing today.
That's good, man. See, I can make people laugh. It's just not when I'm
choking.
A little bit of that too. But yeah. If deception is the point, and you're going to be deceived, then it takes something that is usually considered a negative and renders it into an actual honest professional career. You can become a stage magician and deceive everyone in your life, and almost everyone involved will go, "Good job, bro. Good job." But if you do it in any other context, you're an asshole.
I have the starter kits, dude. I have the magician starter kits. I have the 1, 2, and 3 box. This is box number 1. I have the other ones are still sealed in the plastic there. Here's box number 3.
Because have you not completed box number 1 yet? Why?
No, I have, dude. These aren't easy tricks, man. I kind of opened up the box, tried it out a bit, and I put it on the shelf, and I didn't open the other 2, so forget it.
Dude, don't you think? I think you should have started that career just,
So it's actually I don't know if Callum's still here in the chat room, but Callum was a magician, a hypnotist as well, and like when people say, "Oh yeah, I've done that, I've dabbled in that," and you're like, yeah, all right, whatever. But then he did some magic tricks on the camera, sleight of hand magic tricks on the camera, and he's good, man. He's good at the sleight of hand. I haven't quite mastered sleight of hand, but I've never really practiced it. So,
well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Remember that when you're going through doing there's a certain amount of mechanical things you have to learn to be able to do, like to hold a card backwards in your hand, how to hold a coin so that nobody can see it, the little foam balls deal where you actually keep it balled up in the wrinkle on your palm. And you got to learn to hold your hand straight while manipulating things out of sight.
It takes
a misdirection.
It's really some practice. Right?
Yeah, misdirection as well is a big part of it. It's the hand movements, and that's how you know that Callum's for real, because his hand movements were just perfectly magician.
Well, you can do the same thing verbally. The misdirection component of the debate sphere is probably one of the most frustrating parts of it is and I'm not going to name names, but some people hide their true conversation behind the misdirection of platitudes. And so when you hear someone repeat things, like if they try to analogize one thing to another thing, and these things are not the same at all, and they're the only ones trying to do it, the misdirection is in the analogy and not in the rest of what is being portrayed, because he's trying to confuse your brain.
Oh, so like the
Isn't
guy
that a form of projected apophenia or something like that?
The guy that you just put away, he kept on repeating. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Which means he's completely uninterested in what you were saying. Yes.
When he lost interest, when we started questioning him, he repeated that like 3 or 4 times.
Sure. But I was only curious whether he was putting on an affectation to confuse the conversation, to maintain control of it, and to keep everyone off base, or he's just from Kentucky. But it's possible he's just from Kentucky.
Just born that way.
I mean,
oh my God.
It might be both. It might be both.
You're talking to somebody who has been accused my entire life of confusing people on purpose, when really I'm just answering what they ask, literally, instead of trying to interpret what you mean. And people are like, why are you so difficult? You're being intentionally obtuse. And I'm like, no, sir, you're not saying the words that you think you are saying. Yeah. You are saying words that don't mean what you actually mean. So, sir, tighten up and tell me what you need me to do, and I will do those things. But don't say, hey, ho, go do that thing over there by that place and help that guy. Because God knows where I'm going to end up on that one.
Say something smart, OTW. Come on.
No. Not today. It's Sunday. My brain takes a day off.
Okay. Oh, yours.
Oh, come on, dude. Look, all right. I might be busy Thursday. I usually do my Sasquatch Shills on Thursdays, and I'm trying to set up a head-to-head debate formatted stream. Now, I'm not saying it is a debate. I hate it when people say that. These people are going to scream at each other, and that's the intention. So don't get it twisted. But a debate-styled screaming match.
Okay,
I'm going to take
essentially it's an argument.
That sounds great.
Because arguments are stating facts, but there's not necessarily an equitable exchange, right? It's
you just have to scream them. That's good arguments, but you're just going to have to be totally passionate about them.
Well,
flying chairs and bottles.
Anyway, what it is a flow state and based oracle seem to feel on opposite pages about a homeless point involving greed. Now, I didn't get a whole lot of backstory on it, but they asked me to moderate it, and I was like, sure, let's get together on when. I was going to pitch Thursday, but if I've got something scheduled Thursday, I can pitch a different day for that. If you're busy Thursday, that's cool. I'll just go ahead with what we were planning on doing. But if you want to do a Sasquatch Shows Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, okay with you?
Yep.
All right. So the way this works is I don't go into anything that's off YouTube. If it's not publicly available on your channel for free, which means not behind paywalls and stuff, no membership weirdos or nothing. I'm not going to go to Ko-fi looking for trash. I'm not going to pull stuff from other channels unless the stuff from other channels is decent for a promotional for your channel. The whole concept is I'm the shield, Sasquatch shield, so you don't have to. So basically, I'm just going to ask you YouTube questions, and the conversation can go wherever you want it to. One thing, though, you can restream it. What the hell was that? Okay, you can restream it to your channel. That's part of the gig. But you're responsible for your trolls on your channel. Right? Those are your guys. I'm going to try to handle the ones on mine. The wish me luck because they're absolute Fruit Loops. Because I like to collect trolls. It's fun to me. I enjoy it. So I'm not going to go outside the realm of public knowledge and stuff like that. There's
I'm good, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right.
I'm all about entertainment, man.
Drop me an email and I'll set it up.
Sent.
Send you a link. Oh, cool. I wonder if I spelled it right.
When you realize Sansa was the first psyop you ever felt.
Come on over. No, you flipped me off. Come on, coward. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud. Come on over here. Come on over here. No, you flipped me off. Come on, coward. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
Alex Jones running. I think that's the funniest part about it.
Speaking of which, I have a new music video out, Richie.
Have you?
Yeah. I actually dropped the link in the private chat if ever you want to go check it out. It's on the music channel.
Come on.
I'm just going to play this one quick. Just a couple of videos Rox has just sent me.
You know what you did, Shane?
Oh!
Sharkeisha!
Oh my God! Sharkeisha!
Oh shit! Oh, that's a man. Oh, it's a man. Oh my God! Oh shit! What? What the fuck did I just see there?
That's yeah. That's the backlash about whoever. The McDonald's employee that grassed up Luigi Mangione.
The snitch.
I'm a more fucking Italian mafia fucking name, can you? Luigi Mangione. Fucking hell.
Oh.
But he looks like a soy boy.
No, dude, that's no. I don't want to get too deep into the troon and the tranny thing, but that's not a man, dude.
That's a man, baby.
Oh, that's a man. Yeah. Thank you for saving me there. Shit. That's a man. Yeah.
So right, hang on. So right, here we go. No, that's Sasquatch's email. Oh, it's right up there. Fucking hell! You can tell I don't really. I don't look at my private chat a lot.
Jeez. Can you show that video again? You know, I mean, that was just so. How do you say this? Absurd that you just lost me.
Well, the thing is, I'm not going to play it again because he was. I think he was slapping. I think it was a female employee that he slapped. I'm not sure, but you don't actually see the person. It's obviously it's not real.
No, it's common fodder. He didn't actually slap anybody.
Yeah,
he just pretended to go in there and knock out the person that grassed him up, innit?
Right, and the audio that they put over it wasn't. It was something else. It's a reaction to something else. So it was quite smart. It was quite clever.
Yeah, it was.
Save Me by Jelly Roll, interpretation by OTW featuring Mr. What?
Mr. Boileau.
Boileau,
yeah.
Boileau,
yeah.
Boileau. Never made a video because I just feel like too much of an idiot when I do it. I haven't got any.
Oh, I didn't expect this.
I haven't got a cameraman to film me or anything like that. Set up a tripod and all of that, and I just feel like an idiot. Never buy a white suit either. Never buy a white suit because I'd get it dirty within the first 10 minutes.
Bro, I'm absolutely boss tier in a white suit.
Say that again.
I said I'm absolute boss tier in a white suit. I will dominate the room in a white suit.
Somebody save me from myself. I've spent so long living in hell. They say my lifestyle is bad for my health. It's the only thing that seems to help. Yeah, all of this drinking and smoking is hopeless, but feels like it's all that I need. Something inside of me's broken. I'll hold on to anything that sets me free. I'm a lost cause. Baby, don't waste your time on me. I'm so damaged beyond.
I love the guy sat there. I love the guy sat there with the MIDI keyboard. On the like, where did he bring a stool and stuff and realise that it wasn't going to work on the floor, or was it just?
I just want them down. It's the only peace I've ever found.
I've just noticed you're there twice.
Yeah, and the other guy's there 3 times.
Oh shit! Yeah. I see it now. Oh, fuck off.
Put it on a lower quality, man, because it's fucking lagging big time.
I don't know what the sound quality is like coming through. I know that StreamYard has not been sharing sound very well, so I apologise if this isn't sharing well, the sound.
What are you, dude? Those lyrics. Can you send me those lyrics, dude? I'm a lost cause. I'm so damaged beyond repair. Baby, can you save me?
Baby, don't waste your time on me.
Baby, don't waste your time on me. Well,
now all I'll say is that you're not casting good spells with this song. Say because you're saying you're a lost cause. You're damaged beyond all repair.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm telling the truth.
It's rock and roll, dude.
Dude,
rock
when
I
interpret it,
it's why.
Boy, shut up.
It's rock and roll.
Shut up. When I interpret a song, usually it's because it really resonates with how I'm feeling at the moment, or it's like that's the only time I actually learn a song. It's when I'm like it connects with what I'm going through.
I guess what so I get you. That's it's why I've.
It's like I don't learn songs for people. I don't learn songs to entertain other people. I actually learn them because I want to play them. I want that. That's the song. I want to play that song. And actually, this song isn't even. I rewrote the whole thing. It's like the original song it's just a guitar playing, and there's no drums or music. There's no band, right? And this one is, I find, a hell of a lot more energetic than the original from Jelly Roll, which is actually a cover. He did a cover from another song from the 1970s, right? So, which the original title of the song was "Somebody Save Me."
Yeah, I guess it's where I've stopped listening to music, and so I've stopped. The songs that I learn now are songs that people ask for, so I learn them, and I've stopped.
Yeah, I did that. Been there, done that, and I don't enjoy it. Like I have a maybe 300 songs in a songbook. I've learned a bunch of songs for other people, for parties and stuff like that, but they don't. They're not songs that you want to necessarily just play out of the pleasure of playing, right? So I ended up stop playing other songs that just because other people wanted to hear them, and I started playing like songs that I want to hear.
Well, I learned all the songs. I learned all the songs that I wanted to play, kind of thing. Like
that's impossible, dude.
So like but all the ones that I'd heard that I was like, yeah, I want to learn this and I want to play this. And so in my set lists, there's not very many songs that I just don't like playing. If I don't like playing a song, I don't play it.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm not doing that one. But now my repertoire is big enough to be able to. I can play. If it was physically possible, I would be able to play for 9.5 hours without repeating a song. I don't know how many songs that is.
Well, that's calculate about. It's about 10 songs. Hold on a second. In an hour, we're talking about like let's say 3 to 4 minute songs. Yeah, we're talking about 10 to 11 songs per hour. So maybe 900 songs. Sorry, not 90 songs. 90, 100 songs. That's fucking phenomenal. I mean, I don't even know anybody who could actually, all the gigs that I've ever done, maximum were like 3 hours,
Yeah. The longest I've done is 4.5 hours.
Oh, there you go. It's like,
but I worked it out. I did live streams where I didn't repeat a song, and I did like a 3.5 hour stream, a 4.5 hour stream, and it worked out to like 9.5 hours in the end.
I think, but it's all set up.
Wow, that was quick.
I've been considering how to do this one for a minute. It just, I don't know. I've been meaning to try to come up on one of your panels, and I'm always driving when you go live, and by the time I'm done driving, you have small herd of weirdos doing weird stuff that I don't know anything about.
Dude,
so.
I've been meaning to want to change my content, man, because I'm so tired. I am so done with the loop, man. You have no idea. It's like I go live and the same people come back, and I never get any newcomers with like some, I don't know, dude. I guess I think I just drove my freaking channel right through the fucking mud, and now I'm trying to get it back out of there.
We can discuss it before the show, after the show, whatever. But I mean, I don't try to tell you what to do with your channel. I merely make the statement that these things seem to be functioning better than other things, right? So when I say something negative about that you take as negative about the channel, I might not even be talking about your channel, because I've interviewed so many different people and I try to help them all, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, negative comments about my channel, I think I had like, I've heard them all. There's like, there's none left. It's like,
I mean, you've expressed disenchantment with your content that might be time for a change of some sort. So that's all I'm saying. You might be just
for sure. I'm really, really, dude. I think I don't know how it happened, but last week I did a live stream where I was having a conversation with AI, and we were breaking the Bible down allegorically. And the next day, I had lost 76 subscribers. I was like, "What?"
I'm not laughing at your pain. I'm laughing at the fact that I know exactly what you're talking about. I interviewed a dude that people don't like and lost 50 people. Picked up one new guy who's at every single show, and it was a well worth the exchange.
But I was like 75. That's a lot of people. And what, dude? I literally get like maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 subscribers a day maximum. Like it's like a very small incremental growth, right? But losing 75 in one shot is like, it's incredible. It's like, I couldn't even believe it myself. I was like, how the hell did that happen?
I don't see it as a big issue, but then again, I kind of built my channel on shorts and not on my interview content. My interview content is why I have a channel, but the shorts is how I build my channel. And since I broke my phone and don't have a front camera anymore, I haven't uploaded a short in a minute.
Yeah, actually, that was the same thing on my sister channel. Was a short channel, and I was using this pretty cool AI short maker, which was freaking phenomenal. But the website got shut down, so now I have to find another one.
Or you could do the work yourself. I mean, perish the thought. I'm just saying,
dude. I have like, it was really cool because I have like 5 to 6 hour broadcasts. So I just pop it in there and it would come up with about 10 shorts that it pull out of the 6 hour broadcast, and it would most likely be all the best moments, right? So it's like, for me to go through in a 6 hour broadcast and find like these little best moments that's just insane. I don't have time for that.
Well, but here's the thing. AI sucks. And while you're like, he probably pulled the best moments, you don't know that. The thing is the human context to a clip from a live stream is the heaviest part of it. The fact that you as a person were affected enough to copy it and react to it actually means more than having some AI copies thrown up. Because
let me answer Joe Cool. Joe Cool, fuck off. Okay, go ahead, Sasquatch.
All right, bro. So
yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, I'm not a big fan of AI on its surface. Just in the beginning, AI is a bad idea. We shouldn't be doing it. Humans have no business playing God on this level. It's not a thing we should do. It's like bringing back dinosaurs. No, thank you.
But wait a minute. I first of all, I don't even think AI is an actual like independent thinking machine, right? It's just a bunch of how can I say this? Depending on all of its information gathered through books and all kinds of different conversations, it just answers the most typical answer that you would expect it to answer you based on its programming. So there's actually no real intelligence there, right?
Okay,
it doesn't.
But what I'm getting at is this: if you use the same AI features that every other YouTuber out there uses to make their videos, your videos will look just like every other YouTuber's video that utilizes those tools. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I would rather put the human touch on something that I'm going to edit and upload than have something automatically select and put it up there. Because if I'm going to edit some shit to make you look like a dumbass, it's going to be well done and clever. I'm not going to let AI do that shit because you're going to blame me because like AI is going to edit some stuff.
I get what you're saying. I get it.
Right.
But usually what I sorry, man, I just don't want to cut you off, but it's just like, you know, you're inspiring me. So it's like the AI in a sense, with the way I was using it was just for taking like 1 minute conversations that had a particular topic and a back and forth. And that's pretty much all that I was uploading on that sister channel was like those kinds of shorts. Right. So it wasn't really something that was edited and like, except
but
for like
inevitably there will be the complaint that you clipped that specific bit out of context and you used an AI to do it. And so bear no personal blame on anything other than pressing a button and saying, go ahead.
Right.
It's inevitable.
No, but I don't not like the idea of actually making shorts, but like the edited versions, you know, done from a human being. It's just like I was saying before, what I would argue is the time needed to do so, which is very limited.
I got you.
And
that's
especially like it took me 3 months to make that music video, dude. All right.
I'm sure.
We did 1 day of video filming and recording, and we did 1 day of recording, but I spent 3 months because we don't live close to each other, so we had to exchange files through Dropbox. And he'd do some recording at his place in his studio, and I'd do some here, and then we'd exchange files and end up with the result that I have there, right? So the footage that we took only started taking form about a few weeks ago, right? Even though we recorded it 3 months ago.
Right. Well,
So,
a lot of
it's
people
like-
don't realize when you're doing like physical recording like that in place, you kind of have to do all that all on the same day or the light changes.
Exactly.
You can never get the same circumstances to look like a contiguous film without professional editing and help.
Right. And I actually had a window of about an hour and a half where the sun would actually stay approximately in the same place in the sky. So that way and the shadows wouldn't change place in the video. And I was actually conscious about all of that stuff, man, when we were filming.
You have to be. There's so many layers to laying down a film like that. That's all of the skills you need to make a full movie, but you don't need but a passing knowledge in the basics. And noticing things like light levels and the angles and stuff like that it's the kind of thing you can't really train into someone. You just have to think of that on your own and use it.
Well, or you go out and you try and do it and you film and then you realize, oh shit, we're gonna have to do this again tomorrow, much quicker because look, the lights changed. You know, trial and error kind of.
I guess that's how you end up there in the first place. You go and mess it up. I mean, no one learns anything by succeeding. You have to fail to learn, and so failing is part of the growth curve.
Yep.
Yeah, and the drum track was insane. Like there was so much work to have done on the drum track. It was mind-boggling.
Well, and then the whole syncing all the audio up with the.
Oh yeah. Well, that wasn't that hard because once you because we were actually playing the song for real. In like when we were filming, we were actually having the song played in the background, and we were following it during the recording. So that way, I could align the audios in the editing software. So then that's how I would sync the voices with
So,
the with
all right,
the
I've got a
recorded
question on
track.
that one. I was wondering about that when I saw it. All right, so do you utilize the do you just do it visually and by ear, or do you utilize the counters?
What do you mean
Like,
counters?
Your audio track and your video track both have separate counts.
Audios. You're right, but they have it all on the same tempo, which is on it was 92 BPM, right?
No. What I'm saying is your video track is filmed and then edited together to be what you want it to be, but you have to sync your video with the audio so that it looks like you're playing the instrument at the time of the audio recording, right?
Exactly, right.
How do you get the timing down? Do you just look at it and slide it over by ear, or do you actually utilize a counter?
That's how I did it.
I do it by eye.
Okay, all right. That's my question. That's something you can't
I do
train.
it by eye. Yeah, it's something you have to do by eye, because in the editing software, the one I have, you can see the audio track underneath the video. So you can literally slide in the audio track to have it sync with the video audio track just by aligning the two audio tracks together.
But what I'm getting at is people who learn that as a skill and don't just notice it and use it as like an instinct. The people who learn it as a skill utilize your counters on the different tracks to sync everything up because they believe that's more perfect than doing it by ear.
Right. But obviously it is, because you're literally aligning the tracks perfectly together, right? Because it's the same track. We're playing the same track, but it's recorded in the camera. So we're taking the audio from the camera, and we're actually removing the audio from the camera.
Right. But using the audio count as to sync everything up is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
But you're not so you because you said that you were playing the track as well when you were playing. You weren't playing you were actually playing the song. You didn't have the song playing in the background and you were playing along to the song.
Yeah, no, well, actually, yes, that's exactly what we were doing. We were kind of like singing over the song while it was playing. So, but it's still us playing, right? We're still actually playing the song. We weren't pretending, because I know the song. We both know the song, so we play it that way. When we're changing the chords, and when you see the scene where I'm changing chords and I'm actually on the right chord, that's all thought of. That's all. Like the synchronicities of because when you're filming, if you want it to be as realistic as possible, where it's like you're believing that what you're seeing is the actual thing that you're hearing, you really need to like emphasize on chord changes. Even the guitar solo was, I had to repeat it perfectly while the song was playing, right? So while we were recording it, you were seeing me play the solo because I was actually playing the solo. You know what I'm saying? But I was just playing it over my own solo, which essentially, when it comes down to it, it's lip sync, right?
I personally, I would have found that really confusing. Like it would have put me off having the track playing. I would have been better just playing to a click track. Just play to a click track, so you've got that, so the tempo's right, and then you just replace the audio that the audio from the camera.
And that's the point of asking that type of question, is that there's more than one way to skin a cat, and we all do it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've done it before, so this is how I've just, since I've kind of like learned how to do it on my own, I just do it the same way every time now, because for me it's like the easiest way to do it. Right?
Yeah, if that's the way it works. If it works, if it works for you like that, everybody's got their own.
Well, if you look at all my videos, they're pretty much all done that way, except for maybe a couple where I play live. But yeah, that's it.
Right. So I'm going to get this conversation back on track because it's not a show about your music. Love you, man. But we're talking about, we were talking about, what were we fucking talking about? Because this is just a conversation really that's going on between us three, and Voy and Roxanne are sat quietly in the background.
Sasquatch asked the question.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna.
And I came up and I answered it. So
I'm gonna come in and steer the conversation away now.
I'm sitting here quietly. I'm just pretending to be at tables, a table between tables.
I know. I did actually. I noticed that that you'd screenshotted.
Shit, you noticed my camouflage? Okay, that's not a good sign that you noticed my camouflage. But
well, it's because you got your name there, isn't it?
Yeah,
boy.
Kind of like
that's the only part that gives it away. Okay.
Yeah, it gave you away, man. That's your name. So Sasquatch, what was the question you asked before I showed up? And then I wanted to answer that, and it was because of the clowns and the magicians. You were on that track.
The question about deception, about deceiving, and how accepting. Basically, we've been conditioned to accept deceit.
Well, that would make sense, okay? Because if essentially they're using the premise, to hide in plain sight, okay, the truth, then that would make sense, right? That would totally make sense of how they run things around, and that our subconscious mind doesn't activate because the truth is actually being projected onto us subconsciously. Because I've studied a little bit of how the subconscious works, and it works through symbolism, right? And obviously,
repetition. It works through repetition,
but it communicates through symbolism. Okay, it doesn't use language. It doesn't function like the conscious mind functions. So they've been studying the human phenomenon for so many centuries that they've probably pinned it down to a fault, right? So this is how I think they use the subconscious mind, is they put the truth out there for your subconscious mind to pick it up. So it doesn't, because what the subconscious mind does is it'll pick up on any inconsistencies, and it will reveal the truth to you anyway. So this is so they know that, right? So because the subconscious mind is a very powerful tool, a very powerful engine, if you will, for how we function in this world. So if they're
we function 80% of the day is 80 or 85% of the day is your subconscious mind that's actually working. Your conscious mind is only active for 15-20% of the day.
Bro, my subconscious is so horny.
So no, but by knowing that, then, and they also know that, they're able to subconsciously reveal truths to us, so the subconscious mind doesn't activate and start figuring shit out, right? So this is essentially how they manipulate the masses and manipulate people, and it's not just through, like we were talking about earlier with Sasquatch, the fact that the magician, the audience knows that the magician is there to deceive them, so the subconscious mind doesn't activate to all the illusions that the magician is. You understand? That's why you were mentioning earlier, Chris Angel was saying you have to believe. And removing that cognitive part of yourself that the subconscious mind will logically deduct on its own. So this is how they use that to manipulate you and deceive you. And from the research that I've done.
Interesting. The subconscious mind will on its own. That deliberate, derivate.
If they don't put the truth out in plain sight, your subconscious mind is going to pick up on the inconsistencies or the incongruence of whatever's being shown.
Yeah.
You understand? It'll pick it up and it'll put all the puzzle pieces in place for you. It'll do it. You won't need to think about it. It'll do it by itself because it's going to see the error and it's going to want to fix it. So it's going to automatically deduct the truth. I don't know how else to explain it. Obviously, I'm probably really badly communicating this.
Right. So that's what I feel.
I totally understood you. You know,
that's what I feel has happened with with all of us. We can see the inconsistencies, and we've joined the dots, and we're seeing things differently to the masses. The unconscious collective, whatever, right? So why didn't it work?
Well, you see, this is where I think what happens is eventually this awakened state that we talk about is actually just your conscious mind connecting with your subconscious mind. They're communicating together. So that means that you cannot be deceived by or you can't be deceived by the illusion because you see through the illusion. You see past it.
Sir, you're going to have to explain yourself because I've seen a magician's act a few times that I believe would deceive you.
I've seen magicians do tricks that I know how the trick's done, and yet it's still, to the eye, it looks like they've done it. You just know they haven't but you still didn't actually see it. You didn't see that moment, you look for it, even though you know what you're looking for, but you still don't see it.
Right. And sometimes, especially in magicians' tricks, that there are machines involved or, certain...
Yeah, props.
Yeah. Well, machines, apparatus. It's not just a prop. It's a machine that works in a certain way with a certain...
Well, yeah, it depends how big they are, doesn't it? But yeah.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, like what's his name? Dynamo had a whole rig set up to allow him to walk down the side of the building. But it was basically like a crane and a
I can, and the way he walked over water, I can think of a drone, that will drive on the water, under the surface of the water, and will be able to provide a surface for him to step on just under the surface of the water.
I think they did that with. I think they just did that with glass.
I think they did it with salt or glass. Salt is also a good way to do that. You can fill up that area with salt, and you can literally just walk on the water.
I think that was too. I don't think it was salt because it still looked like what. If you fill it with salt, then it will look really milky. But and also there was too big an expanse of water. Like it for I think it wouldn't. I think they used glass for that a big fucking sheet of like 20 millimeter thick glass or something.
Yeah, like fiberglass, see-through fiberglass. Yeah, that makes sense.
I can think of a device that will be able to float on the water and be able to support him step by step, just floating on the water. It's very easy. You just need to have a budget.
Right? Yeah, he had to train dolphins with camouflage.
They were wearing those new camouflage suits to reflect the light.
That would work better, dude. Dolphins do work better than machines. They do.
He was just there was a line of dolphins, and he was just walking on the dolphins.
Yeah,
I've fished with a dolphin before.
So long, and thanks to the fish, right?
Do you know what a seine net is?
Nope.
All right. It's sometimes called a drag net. Two people go into the water, 70 feet apart or so with a net between them, and the one on the deep end drags it across the bottom, while the one on the shallow end basically just supports the weight. And we had gone out 2 or 3 times already, and the fourth time
scuba gear.
No, you do it in a pair of shorts, bro. You don't do this in cold water.
Right.
Anyway, summer activity. So the idea is to catch shrimp that are feeding close to the shore. So I'm out there. I drag the net in on the deep end, and you take turns so that nobody drowns, essentially. Now, I'd done it a couple of times, and the 4th time I went out, I get nuzzled by this porpoise. Like he shoves me pretty hard, but then again, he was the size of a small bus, and so it might not have been all that hard to him. And it freaked me out. I ran out like a little schoolgirl, was like, holy shit, there's a freaking house next to me. It's like, what the hell? So after a little bit of ribbon by my brother, eventually, I grabbed the other end and went out to the deep end. And the only reason it was the same porpoise is he had a scar on his head right here. And I looked over, and there's the same freaking porpoise. And I just kind of gritted my teeth, and he just eased up next to me and touched me a few times and then swam off after I got too shallow. But I was standing there, and I was like twice. He came and hit the same spot twice, and I went through my pockets and found a small fish in one of my cargo pants pockets. Right?
He wanted the fish, man.
Yeah, he wanted the fish. Apparently, he had chased the fish into my pocket. In fact, it may have been the fish that actually hit me that I felt. Because, the fish was dead as Dillinger. He ran into a brick wall as far as he was concerned.
You missed out on a long life friendship there, dude.
Hold on. I'm not done. Next time I went out,
Flipper, faster than lightning.
Next time I went out on the deep end, I went out about waist deep, pulled the fish out of my pocket, and slapped the top of the water with it. And that porpoise popped up. I tossed it in his mouth. And the rest of the night, every time I went out on the deep end, 2 or 3 porpoise would be on the right side of me, flushing the shrimp into the net. We pulled in our limit in about 4 hours. Usually it takes like 8 or 10 hours of doing this. It was amazing. And my pops was like, what in the world's going on? And I was like, there are porpoise out here.
So you fed the fish, and the fucking fish decided to feed you, man. That's insane.
But I think what the porpoise had actually realized was when I gave him that fish back that I wasn't going to attack him, right?
Yeah.
And so when we were covering the shallower end using our net, the fish that they're actually trying to eat are not what we're after. They get thrown back into the water. And so when the porpoise are there, we throw the fish to the porpoise.
They take the little ones. They don't take the big ones. They take
the other way around. We're after shrimp. Anything that's a fish gets thrown to the porpoise.
Right. Yeah. You don't want the fish. You want the shrimp. Right.
Right. So they were fishing with us.
Yeah.
Wow.
And did you give him the fish? Like,
Yes. As soon as I splashed the top of that thing, he popped up. I tossed him the fish, and I looked at my brother and I said, look, every fish that comes out of our net goes to these guys. And Dan was like, weird, but okay. That's fine. And next dozen pulls, the second pull after that, we broke the net and had to go and get a different net than the backup net. It was immediately night and day. It was a totally different trip then.
So you caught a lot of shrimp. You caught fish, but you caught a lot of shrimp as well.
A lot of shrimp. It was the most successful shrimping trip I've ever been on.
Did you do it again? You didn't. Well, obviously no, because that was the most successful one. But
right, every other time I've ever tried to do anything involving the porpoise, they just left. That was the only interaction I've ever had with a mammal, a cetacean, as it were. That I feel like communication took place. They're not just 16, maybe 15, 16.
Yeah. See, now you're a man. Like. Or when you did it later, you're older, so.
Well, no, I never got close enough to one. It's not like porpoise swim up to you and play with you. This isn't SeaWorld.
Porpoise is, are you talking about, like, because dolphins and porpoises slightly different. The porpoise has got a slightly bigger round.
They're completely different families. They're more than just slightly different. They can't breed. They're completely different. And porpoise are slightly more intelligent, slightly more social, and slightly more aggressive than dolphins, almost across the board.
Right.
Dolphins typically eat submerged shellfish and things, whereas porpoise actively hunt open water for whatever they can get their toothy little tooths on.
We've got there's the opposite is Aqualand, and Aqualand they've got a like sea marine life show thing where they've got dolphins and that, but the pool is tiny, man, and where they're kept is tiny. It's really it's not good. But when you stand on the road, there's a couple of points like outside the Safeway and stuff, you can stand there and just see through the corner and you can actually see them. I've filmed them a couple of times. I swam with the dolphins in San Diego as well.
Well, porpoise are they're a little beefier typically.
Right.
Your dolphins are sleeker. They're more well known, and I'm not sure what the geographical difference is as far as all of that, but they're interesting creatures.
Make the stupid fit people famous.
Make stupid people famous, yeah. I think he's living the life I would have lived if I hadn't met my wife.
Zephyr as well. Zephyr of Axel.
Yeah, I like Zephyr. What's funny is people who've met Zephyr and met me would assume that I wouldn't like Zephyr, but I don't know. I'm not as I question people, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just curious how you came to that conclusion, I'm not trying to say you're wrong when I ask a question. I'm just asking, how much should I take this into account? Is this something you believe or something someone told you? What are we talking about here,
Yeah, is this feelings or is this
right? Are we talking fees or facts?
I'm back in Kentuckistan. Mate, I'm so glad I'm not in the UK, but I am English. England. Can you believe what England's like now,
dude?
People getting
arrested. England isn't English anymore.
No, it's not, is it?
It's not English anymore. Go to London. London used to be the most English place on earth, and suddenly it's Londonistan, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Joe, cool. Be nice. He thinks he's so clever.
Cool. There's another element of London as well that nobody talks about, and we were talking about it earlier. The small hat variety. That's another thing. Like near to Roxanne, she's dropped off. Now she was in our car. She's always got so much to do, man. Being a single mum. But I don't know if it's where she lives now, where she was living before. There's you go to this certain area and all you see men walking around with curls and little hats on, curls down the side of their heads, and they've all got
I get where you're going.
Yeah. And
did you hear about the Jewish tunnels in New York?
Dude, they're not just under New York. they're under every
But I'm just saying, the film of those guys climbing out of that hole is worth more laughs than just about anything else I've seen in the past 5 years.
Have you seen, did you watch One of Us? The Netflix thing about the...
Probably. I mean, I've watched a lot, dude.
It's about the Hasidic. It's about the woman that wants to leave the Hasidic Well, anybody that wants
maybe
to
not.
see, anybody that wants to leave the Hasidic sect kind of thing, and how difficult it is. Like you can leave, but there's a price, and they talk about the cultural dynamics of being a Hasidic Jew. Like the women, when they get married, they actually, all the woman is a baby farm. They're made to shave their heads. They're not taught the same as we're taught. They're not taught maths and English, and they can't do basic math. They can't spell. They can't function in the Western world.
Right.
So when they leave, when they choose to leave, they don't have any of the skills that they need to be able to assimilate into Western culture.
Sure, but that's the reason they do it that way. That's the point. That's not a feature. That's a point. I mean, that's not a glitch. That's a feature.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's the point. I think that's the point that's being made in this One of Us documentary.
Hold on a second, Noel. I don't know where Margot is. I'm not talking to Margot right now. Margot's not here. You can go look for her elsewhere. But you've typed the same misspelling in my chat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Margot.
No, but it's not. When you say about Western culture, it's not about Western culture. They cannot interact with finances. They cannot interact with economy.
Not with anything.
No, what he's talking about is the lack of skill set when they leave. If they attempt to leave the culture, they're just stranded. They have no skill set by which to advance themselves in the modern Western culture, and that's not an accident. That is by design. They are.
But you say it again. Now you say Western culture, but it's not any. No, it's not Western culture. It's just any culture.
Is any culture outside of basically
any culture outside of the being a woman that is a slave to a man. They're just being taught to be.
No, because we're talking about men as well. We're talking about men that want to leave it there as well. So, it's not being able to not knowing, because they speak. What's it called? What's the bloody language called? Come on.
Hebrew?
No.
Yiddish.
The other language, Yiddish.
That's not even a language.
It's like Pig Latin for Hebrew.
But it is. Right? It is for them. Yiddish is a language for them. That's
why I didn't say it. That's why I didn't name it, dude.
It's got German. It was. It started in Germany, wasn't it?
Well, that must be a chutzpah. That must be a chutzpah.
They had the choice for their language in Israel to be either Yiddish or Hebrew, and they went with Hebrew. They had to Hebrew hadn't long been. What was it? 200 years ago, they brought it back to life. It had been dead for 1800 years or whatever, however long it was dead. I don't know how long it was dead, but it was dead for a long time, and then they resurrected it and made it the official language of Israel. But Yiddish is, they all speak Yiddish. Like when these guys that had left and had their curls cut off and their hair cut normal and put on normal clothes, and then they came into contact with their Yiddish, brothers or whatever, they'd only speak to them in Yiddish. So they don't. I don't think the girl that was in the documentary, I don't think she could speak English. Or American, or she could only speak maybe Yiddish and Hebrew.
I was AFK. What were we talking about?
We're talking about we're talking about Yiddish Jews.
Who?
Yiddish. Hasidic Jews.
Oh, okay.
We were talking. So we were talking about how England isn't England anymore, right? It's not. There's nothing about England that is English anymore, really. And if you go to London,
I suspect Cornwall will always be English, but
no, but they've started putting the immigrants down there. They've started putting immigrants down there, and also. But
it's Cornwall, dude. Like,
yeah, but so Cornwall's got all of that west coast down the south and the west coast. That's all. We got the same issue in England as they've got in Spain, where property prices have been driven up so much by tourism and by people buying rich people buying their second and third houses, that normal people that were born in the area can't afford to live there anymore. So, yeah, maybe the only places that are going to be protected are the ones that have got politicians and stuff with their second homes there, and
they play the same game in every nation.
Was Cola Revolution on a mass scale?
Nation after nation, nation after nation, Hava Nagila Hava.
La 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 la, la 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 la.
Nation after nation, we take them down by deprivation. Nava Nagila Hava. Dude, it's not a joke. It's either them or us. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Am I them? Hold on. Am I them or am I us? Bro,
I don't know.
I need to know. But we need to know. Am I them or am I us? Because if it's either them or us, I need to know where I stand.
Right. So you need to know where you stand.
You need to know who the them is and who the us are. Who's the them and who's the us? That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because them could be among us.
They are among us.
Yeah.
They are among us, but
we don't know who they are.
So both me and Roxanne have identified what we would say would be J-Trigs. So people that have been employed to specifically disrupt, but people who have a this is real fucking adjustment bureau level shit, man. But J-Trigs are a recognized thing. You look it up. They're a tool used by the intelligence services and stuff. So like somebody that you used to know who got in trouble with the authorities, and then was offered basically to go and criminal record, whatever, or the offense or whatever it is, gets forgotten if they go and do this thing.
Right.
Go and get back into this person's life. Go and get involved in what it is they're doing, and we just need you to distract. Be a distraction. But this is
insane
like
business model.
This is paranoid schizophrenia level conspiracy theory stuff. But the trouble is, when things happen and they're just too, it's like, as soon as if you try and try and explain it to anybody, it's very difficult for them to not think that you're paranoid. You know, this idea of being a targeted individual.
Right? No, you have to explain it to if you want to explain it to people, you're gonna have to explain it to them. You're gonna have to tell the story in the third person.
So the targeted individual, it's basically, it's all part of the targeted individual thing. So my car gets broken into, right? My car gets broken into, and like everything in the glove compartment is chucked out all over the floor. Everything that was on the floor was put on the seats. Everything that was on the seats was put on the floor. Pair of trainers were stolen. Large bag of Skittles was stolen, sour Skittles, and a whole bunch of receipts for Vodafone were taken out of the back seat. What was left was a drone, a full sound kit, a sound rig, you know, my live subwoofer, top speaker, mixing desk, mic stand, microphone. The microphone was worth a couple of £100. My guitar, you know, all the stuff of value was left, but the receipts were stolen. A new pair of trainers that I bought from a Chinese shop for about €15, so I wasn't too fussed about them, and a bag of sour Skittles, and then the car was locked up again afterwards. This was just after me and Rox had done a live stream with a pharmacist who owned 3 pharmacies and who was treating people on the hush, on the quiet, under the table kind of thing, out the back door, treating people with RSO that he was creating himself, very high spectrum RSO, full spectrum RSO. And he'd actually, like his own father had stage 4 bowel, big C. And after the treatment that his son, the pharmacist, had given him, he no longer had it. And there were countless other people that he treated. And basically, they no longer had the issues that they'd gone in there with. Being careful about how I'm phrasing this, how I'm saying this. And then, yeah, so we did that live stream talking to him where he gave his testimony about his dad and everything. And then YouTube took it down within a couple of hours. We both got 2 strikes straight away. And then a day or 2 days later, my car was broken into, and Rox's car was broken into and moved and parked somewhere else.
Wow. Insane.
Yeah. Try and explain that, you know, try and tell anybody about it. And you know, that is just if you try and suggest that was done as a warning, that was a warning to say, you better be careful, because basically you think that you're secure. You think that you know, you're untouchable or whatever, secure. Look, we can do anything. We can break into your car, plant a whole load of fucking heroin or something in it. Somewhere where we don't know. We can break into your car and you not know that we've broken into your car, put something in your car, and then tipped off the police. And you get stopped on a random stop, and they find, you know, 5 kilos of cola or brown stuff, and boom, and you've gone away. And there's nothing you can do about that. That's what that was. That was a message. So we personally believe from personal experience that it does exist. It's a real thing. If you get too close to the mark, or you get too, if you're too close to the mark, basically, with certain things, they can just.
Dude, you know what? You just made me think of something. Those 75 subscribers. What if it was YouTube that didn't like the message that I was What if it was, not
Dun,
necessarily?
Dude, the first thing I thought when you said it was don't assume that that's they have unsubscribed. They might have been unsubscribed by YouTube. Because I have people being
as punishment because I'm getting too close to something they don't want people to know.
It's just a little message. It's like, oh, don't talk about that too much. We'll take your subscribers away.
Man, I never actually thought of it that way, really.
Remember carrot and stick.
Yeah, carrot and stick.
Wow, so maybe I should talk about it more.
If you talk about it more, you'll lose more subscribers. But the thing is, if you are losing subscribers, it's like what's your reason for having a channel and doing stuff? If it's just to get subscribers and then
no, I get what you're saying,
it's
but
not the best idea.
It's like at the
if
same
you
time,
wanna,
you want to get the truth out there when you're like,
you can't
when you're onto something, especially right when you I don't know. I guess it's like
the platform's so compromised, you can't do it. Like the internet is so compromised.
Yeah,
you can't do it. You have to be really
heavy. Heavy would be the word.
All right, listen, everybody in my chat that might still be there, the link's at the top. Y'all can come over and hang out over here. I'll be here for a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and end mine over there. So get over here.
No worries, dude. No worries.
You